Oh, hi guys. You know, it was 1 year ago this week that we started remote learning for all the students at Rouses Point. And some students at Rouses Point are still remote learning, and that can be very challenging. I know that it's challenging for me because I miss seeing my students in person. And the good news is we're still able to connect through the internet. So I'm glad that we have these videos because I love seeing the artwork that my students send in. Plus, another good thing about remote learning is that every day can be pajama day. And that's kind of cool. And so I thought it would be fun today to do a drawing to celebrate laziness. Sometimes I think we don't do enough to celebrate laziness. And what better way to celebrate laziness than to draw a picture of one of my three favorite animals in the world, this guy right here. I love cougars, alligators, and of course, the sloth. So that's what we're going to draw today. So if you have your pencil and your eraser and your colors close by, we'll get started drawing our sloth. Now to begin my drawing, I'm going to start with a circle. And as I think about that, there are so many drawings that we do where I say at some point, draw a circle. It's really important to know how to draw a circle. And it seems like it's kind of obvious, but if you really want to get better at art, it's something that's really worth practicing. So I'm going to draw a circle kind of in the corner, and I want it to be about as big, maybe as my fist, about as big as an apple. So the first thing I want to do is I want to think about and imagine what that circle is going to look like. Then I'm going to start drawing it. So the top of my circle is going to be about halfway down. And I'm going to draw very lightly at first, and I'm going to go over it. Now I'm going to draw darker than I should just so that you can see it. But it's really helpful if you draw lightly until you like the way it looks, and then you can make your lines a little bit darker. Not so dark that you can't erase them, but just dark enough so that you can see them. So when you're ready, draw your circle, and remember, the top of the circle is about halfway down. There's the middle of my paper right here, and I'm drawing the circle. It goes almost to the bottom, and the other end is nearly touching the edge of the paper. Now, after I've drawn my circle, for the head of my sloth, I'm going to draw his body. And his body is going to be just about the size of the circle, but I'm also going to make it longer. So the top of the oval that I make is going to be just about the same as the top of the head. The bottom is going to be just about even with the body or with the bottom of the head. So it's going to be right about here and right about even with the head right here. But it's going to be longer. It's going to go all the way over here, almost to the end of the paper. It doesn't stop in the middle. It goes almost to the end. So go ahead and again, draw lightly. And draw an oval that's about as tall as my circle, but it goes closer to the end of the paper. The next thing I'm going to add are his arms. And I'm going to begin right here where the head meets the body, and I'm going to go up. It doesn't go straight up. It angles or slants this way, away from the head a little bit. And I'm going to go close to the edge of my paper, maybe about 2 inches away. And then I'm going to have it curve and then come just about straight down. Well, the back leg is going to be very similar to the front. I'm going to begin all the way at the end of the body, not here, all the way at the end of the body. And I'm going to go not straight up, but I'm going to slant a little bit towards his arm. This would be straight up, and I'm angling it a little bit. And the top of the leg is going to be about even with the top of the arm. I'm going to curve it over and then bring it just about straight down. Well, one thing that's very distinctive about the sloth are these long, long nails that they have, or claws, that help them hang from trees. So I'm going to draw a curve going this way and then curling back. Big, long claws. They look like they could be dangerous, but I never heard of a sloth attacking anybody. They're just to help them hang from trees and sleep. So I'm going to draw one line inside and two lines inside, and that will make it look like he's got big, long toes. And how many does he have? 1, 2, 3. So go ahead and draw that now on the front and then on the back. The front and the back are both about the same. And you can see how it goes almost to the top of my paper now. And if your toes don't look exactly like this, that's all right. Well, the next thing we're going to draw is the tree branch that he's hanging from. So starting not right at the end of the paper, but close to the end of the paper, I'm going to go straight across so that it goes just below his claws. I'm going to continue it straight across and straight across again. And for the bottom of the branch, because my tree is going to be right here, I want it to get a little bit thicker as it gets closer to the tree. So I'm going to draw this line smaller right here and then a little bit bigger over here. Not a lot, just a little bit. Now I'm going to draw a little branch sticking up. You don't have to draw that if you don't want to, but I'm going to have a little branch coming up here, not a big one, just a little branch right here. And then I'm going to continue with my big fat branch just like that. And now that my tree branch is done, it's time to do my sloth's face. This is my favorite part. I'm going to start right about in the center, and I'm going to draw an oval for his nose. And then I'm going to draw two little circles, actually not too little, maybe about, oh, I don't know, the size of a penny. Two circles and an oval, make his eyes and his nose. So go ahead and do that now. After I have his eyes and his nose, I'm going to draw his mouth, which is going to be a simple little curve. Maybe I'll put a little line on this side and a little line on this side. You can do that if you want to. You don't have to. And I'm going to make a little curve on top here and another little curve. And I want to have the point right in the middle of his face. So it curves this way and this way. And then it goes all the way around his head. Pretty much like the big circle, but it's just inside the big circle. Just underneath his smile, but just inside the big circle. Now, another thing that's very distinctive about the face of the sloth is that he's got this dark patch around his eye, sort of like a raccoon, except they don't, the colors, the dark colors don't meet in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a curve like this that goes around his eye and then curves down. And then after I've done the bottom part, I come around the top and have this curl down. So again, it goes between his eye and his nose, curls around the eye, and as it gets towards the side of the face, it curves down. Curls around the eye again, and what does it do? It just curls down a little bit. Now, if your sloth mask doesn't look exactly like this, that's okay. After I've done my sloth face with his mask, I'm going to put a little tuft of hair on the top of his head just to make it look like his hair is messy, like he just woke up from a nap. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I think it's just kind of a fun thing to do. I'm just going to start with a little point on top and then two smaller points on either side. There's 1 and 2. There's 1 and 2. Maybe you can have a few more, maybe you have less, and maybe you don't want to do it at all. You don't have to. But there's the little messy hair on top of his head. I don't need this line anymore. And since I drew lightly, I'm going to go ahead and erase it. I like the way this looks. So now I'm going to do the same thing on the side. I'm going to draw maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just to make his fur look a little scruffier, make his face look a little chubbier, make him look a little bit cuter. There's one big one right here, and then a couple little ones on either side. After I've drawn that, I'm going to erase this line because I don't need it anymore. And again, if you don't want to put this scruffy hair on the top of his head or on his cheeks, you don't have to. Well, I'm almost done, but if he has one arm here on the other side of his body, he's going to have another arm. So I'm going to draw just a single line that's just like the front of his arm, but it's just a little bit closer to his head. After I've done that, I'm going to do the same thing with his back leg. I'm going to draw a line that looks just like this. And now you can see his front leg or his front arm and the arm that's farther away, his back leg and the leg that's farther away. And then finally, I'm going to erase this line and maybe draw a little bit of his shoulder. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. And I'm also going to erase this line. My sloth is finished. All I have to do is add my tree trunk. There's one line, and this comes straight down. And right here, I'm just going to draw a few curved lines to show the leaves of my chi. And now my sloth is ready for color. Well, there's my sloth in full color. And as you can see, I really took my time and did my best. What? This is not my best coloring? You think I should go back and color it better? You say that just because we're drawing a sloth doesn't mean we have to be lazy. Well, I think you're right. I am going to go back and color this a little bit better, see if it improves my picture. Well, you were right. I went back and I took my time coloring, and it looks much better. And now that I'm finished, I think, what? It's not finished? You think there's more I can do to improve it? I should take a black color pencil or a black crayon and go back and go over my original pencil lines? All right, I'll give it a shot. Well, I have to admit, I do think it looks better now with the black lines. And I think, what? Oh, you think your sloth drawing is better than mine, huh? Well, we'll see about that. I also think that you think, what? You think he looks like Mr. Botten? Well, I guess maybe around the eyes a little bit. Well, I enjoy drawing it, and I hope you enjoy drawing yours, whether your sloth looks like Mr. Botten or not. I hope that you enjoyed this project and you're looking forward to whatever project we're working on next. I look forward to seeing your drawings. I look forward to seeing you. And in the meantime, stay creative, stay safe, stay cougar strong. We'll see you.